If you are like me, I'd never heard of Bruno Hussar before, and I found him an extremely fascinating man to study. Cultivating peace between Israelis and Palestinians, Catholic priest Father Bruno Hussar founded an interfaith village where Jews and Arabs live, learn, and work together. This oasis of peace, which is the English translation, Neve Salom and Wat Asalam, those are the other pronunciations, probably not quite correct, has been repeatedly nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Its School for Peace has taught more than 35,000 people its conflict management approach. Accepting years of hardship to realize his dream, Hussar demonstrated that even in the most troubled regimes, interfaith harmony is possible. Born in Cairo, Egypt in 1911, to a Hungarian father and a French mother, both non-practicing Jews, Bruno Hussar was raised speaking English, French, and Italian. In Hussar's 18th year, his father passed away, and he and his family moved to France, where he worked to support his family. Shortly thereafter, one of Hussar's close friends died, causing Hussar to ponder the meaning of life. Seeking answers, Hussar started reading the Bible and began feeling deeply connected to both Judaism and Christianity. With his mother's blessing, he decided to become a Catholic priest. Later, he reflected, "I feel I have four selves. I am a Christian and a priest. I really am a Jew. I really am an Israeli. And if I don't feel I really am an Egyptian, I do at least feel very close to the Arabs whom I know and love." Hussar's identity served him well in Israel, the setting of his life's work and a land of tremendous religious diversity. After Hussar became a priest, his superior asked him to spend a year in Israel exploring ways to establish a Dominican Center for Jewish Studies there. Hussar jumped at the chance, and eventually the center was approved and established, with Hussar at the helm. From this springboard, he dove into other activities for Interfaith Harmony, consulting to the Israeli delegation to the General Assembly of the United Nations, and conducting conferences on Christian-Jewish dialogue. In 1967, the Six-Day War brought attention to the dire need for reconciliation between Israeli Jews and Palestinian Arabs, both Christian and Muslim. Insightful and practical, Hussar realized that for true reconciliation to occur, people must share the same experiences of daily life as their fellow human beings. So began the dream of Oasis of Peace. Hussar envisioned his interfaith village to show that it was possible to live together in a spirit of equality and brotherly cooperation, respecting differences which would be mutually enriching, and at the same time to form a model for a school of peace. Referring to this school, he explained, "For years, there have been academics in various countries where the art of war has been taught. We want to found a school for peace, for peace too is an art." Naysayers dismissed Hussar's vision as nothing more than a mirage, scoffing that it was impossible to build such a village in the Middle East. Furthermore, Hussar had neither money to fund the village nor land on which to build it. Fortunately, this did not stop him. And in 1969, a Trappist monastery heard of his vision and generously offered to lease him approximately 100 acres of land for 100 years for minuscule rent. Perched on a hilltop between Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, the property had been uninhabited and uncultivated since the 14th century. Laying the groundwork for the village, the intrepid priest and his friends faced grueling work and harsh living conditions, with plenty of snakes and scorpions, but no electricity, roads, or water. There, Hussar lived for 4 years in a shipping crate, an 8-foot cube, in which he carved out a window and a door. Cheerfully, he reported, "You can live very well for years in such a place." To Hussar, the worst part of the experience was not the hardships, but that even after many years, no residents had come to live at the village. At this point, Hussar decided that he would abandon the project in 1 year unless 2 things happened. A Jewish or Arabic family came to live at the village, and enough money came in to build it. To Hussar's delight, within a few months, a Jewish family arrived, and members of the Catholic organization Pax Christi contributed much welcomed funds. Soon thereafter, more residents moved to the village, and Hussar noted, "They have done so because they can't bear being in a country where 2 peoples never stop fighting. They feel they must do something to help them come together in peace." These brave residents joined this experimental community despite the risk of being denounced as traitors by their friends and relatives, because they chose to live with the other side. Trying to release deeply ingrained prejudices and practice peace on a daily basis, inhabitants of the democratically governed village found that it was no utopia. Heated arguments occasionally broke out between Jews and Arabs, as well as between members of the same group. Nonetheless, the dedicated villagers did not give up. Seeing village children playing together as equals, Hussar beamed. Neve Shalom is certainly the only place in Israel where Arabic and Jewish children are brought up together, seeds of tomorrow's peace. As part of their upbringing, children from the school and surrounding towns attend the village's Oasis of Peace school. There, every student learns both Hebrew and Arabic, in addition to traditional academic disciplines, studying each subject with both a Jewish and an Arab teacher. Most importantly, children learn to respect and appreciate each other's identities while maintaining their own identity. As Hussar pointed out, our children do not fight, not between Arabs and Jews, between a child and another child. I've never seen a child saying, "Oh, Ahmed is an Arab," or "Moshe is a Jew." I've never seen that. Being a priest, Hussar originally imagined that the village would have a strong religious character. However, he soon discovered that most of the families arriving were agnostic and led secular lives. Nonetheless, Hussar accepted them as they were and appreciated them for their willingness to devote their lives to creating peace, reconciliation, and brotherly love. To give residents a quiet place for reflection, Hussar built a simple white dome that he called the House of Silence, believing we need to hear that thin silence in the midst of din of conflict and pain in our world. For many years, Hussar dreamed of creating a school for peace, and in 1978, his dream came true. The School for Peace brought together teenage Jews and Arabs from around the region for workshops in which they met the enemy face to face usually for the first time in their lives. Hussar shared, "Through psychodrama, we asked the young Jew to put himself in the skin of an Arab, and the young Arab to put himself in the skin of a Jew, and to engage in a burning political conversation, each one trying to react as he thought the other one would react in his place. That brought them to a very uncomfortable experience, the experience that maybe the other one is a little bit right, and maybe I'm a little bit wrong, and I have to go further and understand a whole lot more." That is the beginning of dialogue. Once School for Peace facilitators explained the most challenging part of this process. If you are trying to make peace with your enemy, you are going to lose your enemy. To lose is very difficult for a human being. Fortunately, going through this process together, many participants lost enemies and found friends. Today, 70-plus families call the village home, with project growth to 150 families. Upwards of 200 students from the village and nearby towns attend the Oasis of Peace School, which includes a nursery, a kindergarten, a primary school, and a junior high school. Over 65,000 participants have attended the School for Peace for workshops, including people throughout the region, as well as people in conflict from countries as Cyprus, Kosovo, and Northern Ireland. More than 500 people have been trained as moderators in the school's conflict management approach, which, according to a comparative study by the Gutterman Center of Applied Social Research, offers the most effective model for Jewish-Arab contacts. In honor of his efforts, Hussar was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize in 1988. The village has also been nominated numerous times and has won many other awards. Reflecting on these accomplishments, Hussar said with a smile, "We were very naive, and I think that's the reason for why we succeeded. I have sown seeds. Others have cultivated the plants they produced." With his dream of the village realized, what was next for Hussar? In his elder years, he shared, "What is still there is the daily act of carrying on." Steadily, Hussar carried on until 1996, when at age 84, he passed away. His epitaph was carved in 3 languages, Hebrew, Arabic, and English, and his body was laid to rest in the soil of his beloved village. Thanks to Father Bruno Hussar's vision and dedication, this hilltop village continues to serve as a beacon of hope, demonstrating that even in such a troubled region, interfaith harmony is possible. We will now see a few of Bruno Hussar's more famous quotes, followed by a song.
Like an ever-flowing stream.